They don't understand your vision, and that is why they don't support you. They didn't clap because they cannot comprehend what in the hell are you doing. Some of them think you have lost your mind, that you would be rather doing a business that makes you happy and fulfilled and feel liberated and free than to work a job that is keeping you stuck and making you miserable, because they don't get it. They've never done it. They haven't seen it. They've not witnessed it from anyone. They themselves have not done it. And they're projecting their fear on you. Okay. And that is not okay, but it has to be for now, because they don't know any better. They don't know any more outside of their own little bubble. Right. And so people are comfortable being uncomfortable. They are comfortable in their discomfort. Do you know what I'm saying? You are someone who's deciding to take a risk. And many people are really uncomfortable with that. They can't see your vision because why? Because their vision, or your vision rather, was not given to them, it was given to you. So they're never going to see it. And you don't have to explain it away. So I want you to know, I get it. I feel your pain. I know what you're going through right now. I understand the challenges you're faced with because I've been there. Entrepreneurship can be a lonely road. And that's why you've got to get in the right place with the right people, others who, a stronger support system. Not to say that you don't have support from family and friends to some degree, but they're not going to understand like others of like mind. So you've got to get, when I say a stronger support system, I'm talking about others who are on the same or similar journey as you are. Those who understand the challenges that you're faced with. Those who have already succeeded to some level. Those that you aspire to have a life like, right? You've got to start getting around the right community of people who can pull you along, push you ahead, propel you forward faster. And if you stay around those individuals who don't see your vision and who don't support you at that level that you actually need the support of, you're always going to feel like in this somber mood and down and depressed about it and not excited about your dream life. Or maybe you are excited about it when you're not around those individuals, but then when you get around those individuals, you're not as excited. Whatever the case may be, I'm telling you that you need to get around the people who actually will support your dream and offer you enlightening conversations, stimulating conversations, give you a network of resources that's going to get you there quicker, faster, and sooner than you can ever get there by yourself. Okay. Because again, being on this entrepreneurial journey can be very lonely. And let me say this too, being the first generation of anything can feel very isolating. It is isolating. If you're the first, to go to college in your family, if you're the first to get a high paying job, right? If you're the first to leave a job and build a business, if you're the first to bounce around the world or travel around the world and move abroad or live abroad, if you're the first for any of that, if you're the first generational struggle breaker and generational curse breaker and generational wealth maker, if you're the first legacy leader, the first of anything is going to be a challenge and it's going to feel isolating, which is all the more reason why you need to get in front of and surrounded by the right people and a stronger support system for sure. Okay. Most people don't support you, or they don't support what they don't understand, right? Or what they can't control. That's the truth. So I stopped inviting people, okay, to support me. And I started supporting myself like I was the investment, period, point blank. And it didn't really matter to me. I mean, I wanted the support from certain people that I wasn't getting it from long term, right? Like ongoing support. But I had to realize that it was my vision, my dream, my life. And so if I wanted the support, I had to take my own advice, right? The advice that I'm giving you today, which was to get around the right people who will support me. And then it wouldn't feel so hard and so challenging and so sad, to know that the people I really wanted the support from just couldn't do it because they couldn't see it because they were stuck in familiar territory. So I stopped waiting for permission. And you need to stop waiting for permission. You need to stop trying to explain what hasn't actually truly unfolded yet. See, that's what you're doing. You're explaining or trying to explain to someone who can't see the bigger picture, who already think you're a bit off the rockers, you know what I mean? For doing what you're doing, for following this path, for following this dream that they can't see. Um, and they can't see that you're exchanging what you have, perhaps in corporate America, like I did, for a business that was going to eventually offer me the freedom that I needed and deserved. They can't see it. Okay, so you're trying to explain something that hasn't yet unfolded. Right now, especially if you're in those early stages, those early years of business, when your business is not yet profitable, it really don't make no sense to people who got sense, right? So they're like, wait, what? Like I remember this with my family and friends. They were like, okay, so wait, you're making a lot of money right now. Six figures, a high six-figure salary. You got these great benefits. You're not even just working close to home, you are working from home. You have autonomy, you have flexibility, you're in a leader status, you have all of these accolades and credentials. You went to school and sacrificed so much and neglected your needs sometimes and your family's needs to get here. Like you have climbed up the ladder higher than any of us have climbed. You have gone and done all of this schooling to pursue these higher degrees. What do you mean you are going to do this business? And right now you're not even making money in business. What? Who does that? Right? Who does that? Like they just couldn't see it. They couldn't see that one day it was going to be so much more than this moment that they were witnessing. And you may be experiencing that right now too with family and friends or close people who are close to you. So the thing is, they need proof, but you only need faith. They need proof. You only need faith, right? I was begging for support from people who never saw themselves truly as being free. So they couldn't imagine freedom for me. And that wasn't their fault. That was the fault of the society that we've been brainwashed by. The society that tells us that the traditional career path, corporate America, is the way to succeed. That brainwashing story we were fed, right? That programming we were given. Go to school, graduate, get a couple of degrees under your belt, go get that good paying job, right? Climb, 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 climb the corporate ladder, get those good benefits, that pension plan that don't exist no more for a lot of us, for a lot of people who are still in the workforce, for you, maybe true too, right? And just keep climbing till you hit that proverbial glass ceiling, retire well, and live happily ever after. That is the fairy tale that we are told, but nobody prepares us for the nightmare that inevitably will occur at some point in your career. What happens when the whole dream gets snatched from underneath you, that so-called ideal life, right? After you've done all of that, pursuing degrees and getting into debt, only to end up in a lot of disappointment, right? You feel so much disappointment when you're terminated, fired, discharged, laid off, kicked to the curb, pink slipped, all of that. It's all of it's happened to me, okay? Or should I say for me? Because at the end of the day, the outcome ended up being, it turned out, not in the moment, but after the fact, it turned out to be good for me. So now I say, life happens for me, not to me. But at the time, when you're in the midst of the storm, it feels like life is happening to you. And when you're ill prepared because you were depending on that job, just solely that one income, it's like when everything gets snatched from underneath you and your world gets flipped upside down, what do you do now when you didn't plan ahead? When you didn't see the writing on the wall, when you thought that job was going to be the only place you ever worked, right? That employer, or you were always going to be in that industry or that career, or that you were told that you were in a safe job, right? Or working in a recession proof industry like healthcare, like I once thought, like I was once told, right? I was told that there was a shortage of nurses and that they're trying to get more nurses in the buildings and we need more great nurses. And so, but they didn't tell me about everything else until afterwards. Okay. So sometimes we learn the hard way, right? So I just stopped, like I said, begging for support from people who just couldn't see themselves as free. For me, that was being imprisoned in the confines of corporate America. And I was there for 30 long years. That was my sentence. Now, I'm not saying I didn't learn a lot from corporate America, and I know I'm being a bit dramatic, okay, because it wasn't all that bad the whole entire way through. It wasn't. I'd be lying to you to say that. I have had a lot of really great positions and worked for some very prestigious corporations, Fortune 500 companies, well-renowned corporations. I've held a lot of very high leadership roles. I have worked alongside of some major key players. I have learned so much along the way. Corporate America in many ways has done me a lot of good. Okay? I can now use those transferable skills in my business. Okay? Now, that even though that is true, I still felt suffocated and I still felt unhappy and I still felt unfulfilled and I never felt free. And I didn't have the kind of flexibility ever that I truly desired. Okay? Not fully, no. So I say all that to say that if you're feeling that way right now, you're not alone. There are many of us who have been there and done that and won't go back because we're choosing not to. And then there's someone like you who's feeling like you don't know which way to go or don't know how to get started or started and stopped and started and stopped, or maybe you didn't, maybe you started and you didn't complete it, right? And or it didn't work out for you as soon as you thought it would, or whatever the case might be. So you went back into the workforce. Maybe like me, this is my truth. At some point along the way, I had to go back into the workforce because things just weren't working as quickly as I needed them to. And I needed a way to continue to maintain my livelihood, but also, sustain my business, right? Until it became profitable. So you might be there, but there are a lot of different scenarios, right? Maybe you just love your cake and eat it too. I've been in those positions too, where it's like, man, I'm making all this great money and have all these great benefits in my job. Why leave when I, at the same time, have this business over here doing what it's doing? So the best of both worlds. However, I still didn't feel free. And that's what was important to me. So now that's what I do is help women as a freedom strategist and a holistic business coach and an RN health and wellness educator. And that's why it's so important to me to make sure that I am teaching from a holistic, approach, and all of my teaching methodologies revolve around that, as do my frameworks. Now, before we go any further, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment right now so we can get this discussion popping, okay? I would love to know what's pulling on your heartstrings and what's resonating with you and where you are in the journey right now. Let me know below. And if you're enjoying my video today, this episode, and my content so far, then definitely do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode when I drop new content and or go live, okay? And go ahead and take a peruse around and get familiar if you're new here. And welcome, or welcome back, by the way. Now, I do want to say this. I mentioned earlier how lonely entrepreneurship can be. That can be a tongue twister sometimes, right? And so the walk alone, or how do I want to put this? I want to say walk alone and lead anyway, even if you're afraid, even if it's lonely. I won't say the best leaders necessarily, but perhaps the true leaders, real legacy leaders. Okay, I'll start there. Often build in silence and work in silos for the most part, at least in the beginning years. Even when you're misunderstood, move forward anyway until success is louder, until success makes noise. Okay, you're not just building for the here and now moment, you're building for generations to come. And that's what's most important. In the beginning, my mother did not understand what I was doing and why. Why did I want to leave my good paying job? I make the most out of the whole family. I've got some of the best jobs I've landed. Anything I say, I get. Anything I manifest, it happens for me. Why would you do this? But now she understands, and she's always been my loudest cheerleader and my biggest fan, as have my closest knit family members, my son, my forever life partner, and for sure my mother, always. So it wasn't that she didn't want to see me succeed and want to see me win in that area. She just didn't get it, right? But now she's so proud of me. Now she's like telling everybody, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter did this, that, and the third. My daughter, my daughter, my daughter is doing this. She got us out of the struggle and she set us up for success. She's proud of that. And so am I, right? So it's about setting your family up for real freedom. Freedom from the struggle, freedom from the generational cycle of struggle and curses, right? And really building true wealth and leading a legacy you could be proud of and one that you can leave behind long after you're gone. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're working on. Now I have her full support as well as others that I didn't have their full support before. But all that matters to me is my small circle of love, as I call them. Okay. Now, you don't need a village to validate you. You just need a small inner circle, right? You just need a vision that refuses to let you settle. You need something that keeps tugging on those heartstrings. You need to operate in faith over fear. And you need to have a deeper why and stay connected to that, so that when it gets tough, and it will, it always does, you can remember your why. Always remember your why, okay? And if you're ready to move forward fast and furiously toward your beautiful, bright, blessed future, that is your absolute birthright, by the way. You are entitled to that and so much more. If you are ready to move from being unseen to unstoppable, I want you to book a clarity call with me, and let's go ahead and turn that vision of yours into an actual strategy. Whether or not you are exiting from a career that no longer serves you, or a toxic job, or a hostile work environment, or a career, an industry you've outgrown, or whatever the case might be, and you're ready to leave the workforce, launch and or grow your business, right? And leave a memorable, long-lasting legacy and live a life on purpose, a life that has meaning while you're still here. Because as far as I know, I don't know about you, I don't know if you've been given a different message, but as far as I know, we only got one shot at this life. Only one life to live, okay? We don't have 9 lives. We've got one. So I want this to be your winning season. I want you to live your first class life. I want you to make this the rest of your life the best of your life. So if you're ready to build an aligned and profitable online brand and business while prioritizing your health, healing, and happiness, right? Without sacrificing your soul and sanity or compromising any parts and pieces of your life at all, any aspect of it. If you want to feel whole and complete and happy again, find your happy place again, I'm your girl. I want you to book a clarity call. I do offer a variety of ways to work with me, primarily VIP days, so one-on-one attention that you would get from me, okay? And I have a tiered system for that. I can talk to you about that on the clarity call. You also might want to work in a group setting. I have group coaching programs as well. I have courses if you want to do something more self-paced. And of course, I have a plethora of digital products if you just want that, okay, for now. Or if you want a one-off support call, then that's what the clarity call will also be, to kind of get you out of your head and map out some things, kind of set up, like what that plan looks like for you. How do you define success and what you envision for yourself? Me asking you questions about where you are in the journey and where it is you ultimately want to be. Maybe that's all you need for now. Okay. But whatever it might be, if you're ready for any or all of those, okay, go ahead and start there and get on a call with me so we can, or if you already know, look, no, I'm ready to go deeper, go ahead and book that VIP day. I'm going to have all of the links to these resources. They're already in the description box, but I'll put them in the pinned comment so that you can get to it easier. Okay, but either click above or click below and find your way there. Okay, now that's my time, so I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and watch the next video that YouTube recommends. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.